Hi, it's Mark from Blue Poodle Studio. On one of our previous videos, we were talking a little bit about an overview of licensing style guides, and now we're continuing another series to go a little bit deeper into each of some of the specific guides. So this is one of my personal favorites, Classic Muppets. This came to me from Jim Henson Studios when I was working at Mead, and we became a Muppet licensee. It was the first time Mead had licensed the Muppets for the purposes of school supplies and social stationery, and more stories to come about that organization and all the great talented people that work there. But anyway, I hung on to this guide, and it is one of my favorites. So we're gonna take a peek inside. Of course, as usual, there's a cover letter, and I think this helps give a little bit of background. Of course, it says, "Congratulations, you're the proud owner of the all-new Classic Muppet Style Guide." And it is not dated, but I want to say this was probably about 1990 this was published. The style guide is to be used for reference only and should help aspiring Muppet artists learn how to draw the classic characters. The pages show how to put the Muppets together, check for character correctness in areas of proportion, expression, pupil size, placement, as well as color. Furthermore, your Muppet profiles will give you insights into the unique personalities of each character, and the descriptions can be used to translate into concepts for your products. Our intention is that this publication should inspire fresh concepts and artwork from you, the licensees. Its contents not meant as pickup art, but rather should help encourage you to do original design ideas. So remember, a lot of the other style guides we look at are, you might call, clip art, which is kind of an old term, but basically that you can photograph and piece together the assets from that to create artwork. Here, what's unique about this piece is it's more basically teaching you how to draw the characters, which I think is fun and just fascinating to look at. So let's dig a little bit deeper in here and see what else we find. All right, well, let's go a little bit deeper here then. So first, I did like the fact in the title page it says "Learn to Draw the Muppets," and of course, it's different when you're drawing them versus using photography, and it's a little bit of a lost art form, but it's still quite an important talent. So let's take a look. They kind of hold character by character in each section. So here's Kermit, of course, the star of the show, and I love the kind of diagrammatic view of him. Kermit the Frog, and there's a little setup and reading about it. Kermit is the leading man of the Muppets, the affable everyman who always has the audience rooting for him and his friends to succeed. He is the calm center whom all the Muppet chaos takes place around. The leader of the Muppets, he attempts to keep things going in the right direction, even when no one can agree which direction that might be. In short, Kermit is sensitive, thoughtful, decent, and all those other things we'd like to be. But his most endearing quality is his ability to endure this peculiar behavior of his friends and encourage them to reach for the stars. So who doesn't love a personality like that? So got a kind of a title page for each section with a great drawing and a little bit of profile photo, and then we go deeper inside, and now we're actually looking at this is very much similar to, if you've ever had a drawing class, how artists teach life drawing, and they have scale and show the size and proportions of the head to the body. And here, of course, we're also acknowledging the fact that Kermit is a puppet, and so they even show how the puppeteer's hand fits inside his head. Again, none of this is intended for public viewing, but rather as a tool and a resource for the artists and the licensees to create Muppet products. So that's a little fun style guide sheet there. And then there's a second piece that shows more facial expressions and what he looks like when he's happy or he's confused or sad or frustrated. And again, just different ways to show the scale and proportions of his body in these different poses. Okay, of course, Miss Piggy. Who doesn't love Miss Piggy? Miss Piggy is the ultimate woman. She's the world's most famous superstar, a femme fatale, a coquette, and when needs be, one very tough pig. A complex character with varied traits and talents, she can sing, dance, act, pose, and give advice. Plus, she has a powerful left hook. She is brave, flirtatious with handsome guest stars, and can and will take charge of most any situations, and is extremely adept at karate. She speaks fluently a dialect of French, which mainly consists of her referring to herself as moi and you as vous, and everything else as magnifique or la pitz. So, excuse me, let's go a little bit farther inside. So here's the style guide on how to draw Miss Piggy. And in particular, they pay a lot of attention to her eyes and her eyelashes and the shape of her eyes. And of course, you get a sense of her scale of her body and the proportions of her head to the rest of her body. I think there's a second page here, and we can see, again, her in different poses and different action shots, but again, continuing to focus on the proper proportions and how to draw or render her as a character. And of course, she's always with her ever-present gloves. Fozzie Bear, sort of the comedic relief of the group, and again, a fun, sensitive character. Fozzie Bear is the lovable stand-up comic who will tell a joke no matter how obvious, old, or dumb, in hopes of being a hit in the exciting world of show business. From the bright tie, the old hat, and the world of and the waka waka that punctuates his punchlines, to the hook that comes with him off stage, Fozzie is an anything for a laugh comic in the vaudevillian tradition. Seltzer bottle, banana peel, pie in the face. Lots of great stuff there. So let's go a little bit more detail on Fozzie. Here's again his drawing page, and you get a sense of his proportions. His body is the larger chunk of him, plus his head, and you got a sense of his costumes. And of course, I love his slouchy cap, is always fun. And then here's some other renderings inside, showing some more about different poses and his facial expressions, confusion, sadness, being stumped by something. Gonzo. Gonzo is another one of my personal favorites. With enormous enthusiasm, unmistakable optimism, and a delirious, delightful laugh, Gonzo will do almost anything to make a splash. He is forever in pursuit of the ultimate act of foolish abandon, daredevil dare-doing. With grand theatrical flourish and a thorough disregard for personal safety, Gonzo will be shot from a cannon to a bowl of whipped cream, balance a piano on the tip of his nose, or tap dance in oatmeal while whistling Dixie. Funny stuff. Great character. And here's his style guide. Here's his body. He's a little furry blue creature with this funny kind of crooked nose. And you kind of get a sense of his fur to make sure they show the form body before you start filling in the fur. And of course, his ever popular kind of primary outfit of his Argyle sweater and the occasional tie. And then another page here. Well, here's Gonzo doing some of his stunt action, including his cannon, the oatmeal dance, and other fun things like that. Love that character. Animal, of course, in the band, a funny drummer character. We won't spend a lot of time reading his profile, but again, he's a wild, uninhibited guy who wants what he wants and wants it now. And then here's again some renderings of him in his band outfit, the little short crop jacket and the funny shackles on his legs. Little bit of chin, but not much there. Arms are kind of loose and floppy, and you can see some different facial expressions, and of course his ever-present kind of canine teeth. One other rendering here of him, some different styles, kind of again showing the construction of his head at different angles, different profile versus straight on. And Ralph. Ralph was another character voiced by Jim Henson himself, and Ralph was the piano player, just as Jim Henson was. The piano-playing dog with a down-to-earth manner and a peculiar penchant for novelty songs and painful puns. And so we'll take a look at his style sheet, how to draw. Again, his big, chunky body. He's basically about 3.5 heads tall. And again, his fur is very close in. His face is very expressive. And you kind of get a sense of the different angles of how to draw his face. And then here's some other poses, particularly of him at the piano. He also liked to skateboard, of all things. And a very well-balanced character, you can see by the diagram of how to center up his nose and face. And then finally, we come to the color palette. So here we get a glimpse of all the proper color specifications for the characters to make sure they're on target. And again, this is for illustration renderings. Obviously, photography, the characters are already dressed and ready to go. So a fun book, a beautiful book, very well produced. And all right, well, thanks for tuning in for this. We've got lots more toys from the Muppet characters to share with you later. Truly, the Muppets are one of my personal favorite properties. I loved and inspired Jim Henson as a kid. I really admire him as a professional, very creative man. And it was fun to share this guide with you today. So more Muppet fun to come in future posts and videos. So thanks for joining us. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. More fun to come.